Hi, this is Jacqueline Tran's submission to the Messenger PY file. Sorry I'm a little late to the submission, but it's on time nonetheless. So I have my 4 imports, the sys, the socket, the getOp, the OS, this is just allows you to use the system exit, this is to allow me to use sockets, this is allow me to read in the command line, and this is just to let me use the os.exit. So I just have this usage one, the first method that I started with, that tells me what command to use if I wanted to use the server or not. And so into the actual code, I have the client connection, which is the file that would read what the client gives. And so it says the socket.afint and socket string. So this will allow me to create a socket. And then in here, I'll have in my main method, it'll check if it's a server. And then if it is a server, then it'll execute the port. Or if it has a specific server port number, then it'll just put it in. If not, then it'll just use the local host. And then it'll return the socket. And then in the listener file, so it'll listen to the client's request or whatever they type in. And then it'll have, similar to the socket or the client connection, it has this, it'll create a socket for it to use. And then also it'll allow you to use a certain address. And then this will bind the socket connection to whatever port number that the client uses, because that's the most important part. And then it'll wait and listen to what the client says. And if it doesn't, then it'll just exit. And then the socket connection address, this allows you to accept the connection that's being used, and then it'll just return a socket. And then these are just little methods that I just use to make it easier. Once it receives a socket, it'll read the message, which is in bytes, and then it'll just receive it, and then it'll return the bytes. And then this will send out the bytes, it'll take the socket and then take the message bytes, and then it'll just send the message that was sent, or that was received to be sent. And then here's my main method. My main method consists of reading the argument or the command line. So specifically if it sees an L, and then even more specifically, if the command is L-L, then it is a server. And then also it'll take the first element of that list, or the first element after the option that's given, it'll be the port number. And then I just set this to none just to have it be an element, because that will be needed in the method, because it'll ask like if it's a server or not, and if not, then it'll just return the localhost. And then this is the host number. If there is a length, then other than, if the host number is 2, then the server is the length of that other element, which is not the port number, but another address that's given. And then this is the server. It'll check if it is the server, then it'll just start the connection for the listener for the server, it'll start listening for the client. And this is just to create a socket. And then again, this is to create a socket. And then here you'll see the client. This is if it's not a server, then it's obviously the client. So then it'll have the client method ready for me, given the server, as I said here, none, but if it is, then it'll take that address, give it the port number. As you can see, both of them have the port number. Here, it'll take the file receive message, and it'll receive the message sort, and then it'll just start it. And that allows you to start the thread. This is just like the way to create a thread, just a single thread for the file. And this is where all the messages are being held. And then continuously it'll be held, because it'll just wait until you actually exit yourself. And then here, this will just take the message as well. This will just continuously just read the lines itself. And then if not, it'll shut down and just close. And I guess that's it. And here's a little sample I can show you. So this is a client, because there's no L, obviously this is a listener. So I'm gonna be like, hi. it'll be, and then as you can see, the client or the listener says it, and then it'll be, I'm listening. And as you can see, it works. And so if I do Command Z or Control Z and enter, it'll just exit out of the system since it's not reading anything. And that's it. Thank you so much.